Hello, my name is Sufiya Ahmed and I'm the author of this book here, which is called Princess Sophia Duleep Singh. Sophia was the daughter of the last Maharaja of Punjab, Duleep Singh, and the goddaughter of Queen Victoria. And she was a very passionate suffragette, one whose name is not very well known, but hopefully that's something that we can change with when stories about her are shared. And what I'd like to do today is, to mark International Women's Day, is just read from one of the chapters. And the one I've chosen is called Black Friday, when Princess Sophia and her good friends Mrs. Emmeline Pankhurst and Elizabeth Garrett Anderson and other leading suffragettes march on Parliament. So, Black Friday, 1910. The Home Secretary, Mr. Winston Churchill, may very well have me arrested today, Emmeline says as we walk together. In step with us is Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, the pioneering doctor in whose footsteps Bamba tried to follow. I wish Bamba were here to see this, but I know she is happy in India. But there will be no truce, Emmeline repeats again and again with every step. We are leading a march of 300 women to the Houses of Parliament because we have been betrayed by the Prime Minister, Mr. Asquith. During the last general election, Asquith made a campaign promise that he would permit the vote to some women. Not to all women, but it's at least a start. And now he's going back on that promise. Emmeline is furious, as we all are. By midday, we are standing in Parliament Square, bold and loud, and making our presence felt. I glance around at the gathered women, my sisters, and wonder if Mr. Churchill really will have Emmeline arrested rather than allow her to enter the Houses of Parliament to confront the Prime Minister. I stand by Emmeline's side, ready to defend her, when suddenly I'm aware that something is happening elsewhere. I can hear screams drifting towards us from the back of the crowd. I throw a quick glance at Emmeline, who has paled considerably. We knew there was a chance of arrest, but we were not expecting screaming. Things have suddenly gone so very wrong. The crowd surges towards us. We stumble back. And then, out of nowhere, a line of policemen appear. They pin us back against the gates of Parliament. I can barely breathe as I am trapped between the metal gates at my back and these large policemen in front. Then chaos erupts. My eyes cannot take in the sight in front of me. Our women and girls are being attacked by the police. A woman younger than me has her blouse ripped. Her corset is visible. She tries to cover herself, but the policeman holds her arms up. The scandal! I cannot believe the policeman's violence. I want to reach out to the poor girl as she screams. Get off her, Emmeline yells. My vision is blocked by a burly policeman. I cannot see who Emmeline is trying to protect from her own pinned spot, but she looks furious. Get off her, you oaf! It gets worse. The policemen are now tossing the women between them like rag dolls. They are actually hurling them from one man to the next. I have never seen anything quite like it. More screams. There are horses now, charging at the groups of huddled women who are trying to protect themselves from the men. And now it's not just the policemen. Male onlookers have joined the abuse, and some are punching and slapping the women. Emmeline's voice is hoarse from screaming. Arrest us if you must, but stop the violence. One of the policemen pinning us to the gate snorts at her. Mr. Winston Churchill doesn't want any of you filling the cells. We're to use any means necessary to stop you from entering Parliament. He has commanded this, Emmeline shrieks. What an absolutely horrid man. How can he sit in government and order this violence? It is unacceptable. We're just following orders, the policeman barks before falling backwards. Something has happened to break the police line. Oh, bless her, a suffragette is riding a horse against the policeman, and some end up on the ground from her charge. It does not last very long. She is soon pulled off her horse. Her action, however, has led to the police line being broken, giving Emmeline and me the chance to get past the policeman. We both launch ourselves into the crowd to help the woman still being attacked. I rush to a woman who is being choked on the ground. Aiming kicks at the policeman's side, I scream at him to let her go. He glances up at me and then releases the woman. She struggles for breath. For a second, I think he's going to punch me in the face. For some reason, he resists the urge. Is it my brown face? Have the police been instructed not to touch the Indian princess for fear of the newspapers printing a photo of me looking all bruised? I do not know why, but the man disappears into the crowd. Once his poor victim is back on her feet, I hurl myself at another man, whose hands are all over a young woman. "Let her go," I scream. He pushes me back into the crowd with such force that I almost topple over. On and on it continues. It is never ending, and I fear that we will all die here, beaten and trampled. After 6 long hours, the men's violence finally stops. My hands are locked together in handcuffs, and I am hurled with considerable force into the back of the police cart. I am to be charged with obstructing the police and will have to appear at Bow Street Magistrates Court in the morning. My elation at being taken seriously by the police is tempered with the shock I still feel at their violence. And then that small burst of triumph is quickly vanquished by Mr. Churchill's decision to drop all charges against all the women. They don't want the judges to hear testimonies of the police violence, Emmeline says at a hastily called meeting. They have robbed us of our day in court. I'm surprised some of the women weren't killed on the day, I remark, staring down at the front cover of the Daily Mirror. The newspaper has published a picture of a suffragette lying semi-conscious on the ground with the shadow of a policeman over her. We are going to call that disgraceful day of police brutality Black Friday. That's the chapter on Black Friday when the suffragettes marched on Parliament. And I hope it inspires you to want to read the rest of the book and what else that Princess Sophia got up to. Happy International Women's Day.